Hello and welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got two Honda CBR1000 Fireblades. So these are the brand new tooled 1/9 kits from Magic Factory. Have to say, big disclosure, Magic Factory sent me both of these for free. As again, usual bit of feedback for them and things like that, which I will do once I've reviewed them. But I have to say, I am very impressed. It's been so long since I've actually built a bike. And the last bike I did was actually this one. Which was the Ducati 1199 many years ago. Turned out very nice, and this one was a huge learning curve for me because I learned all about doing gloss work and stuff like that with this particular kit. There is a full video build for members if you want to go off and see this one, but it turned out absolutely fantastic. And I must admit, there's something about doing bikes, I think, because they're small, but the mechanical bits of it just is absolutely spot on. All right, but what I really love about these two is they come pre-painted. All right, so we've got two here. We've got this one, which is the CBR1000. All right, this is the Fireblade. This is in the 30th anniversary markings one. All right, so we have that one. We also have the standard one going the right way as well. So down in here, it's exactly the same bike, but this is in the sort of more normal markings, if you like, as well. Now, the big thing it says down in here, no gluing required, which I always take with a pinch of salt with these things, but anyway, we will see. And it's pre-painted. All right, so as you can see, if we have a quick run around both boxes, you can see there's about 10 quid price difference. Prices are around about anywhere I've seen between 70 to 90 pounds, depending where you get them from. All right, but you can see we've got the nice colourful ones down in there, fully licensed by Honda as well. So again, we can see down in there and some of the details right the way through. So that's your sort of standard one, just like that. Then obviously we've got the anniversary one, which is obviously just the colours in the bikes and things like that, really, than anything else. There's no extra parts in this one as far as I'm aware. Exactly the same thing as well, apart from this is in the white, blue and red. Again, down in here. So your kit numbers for this one is 1401 and your other one is 1402 for the standard one. And again, you've got QR codes that you can go off and zap and stuff like that, and you can see those to your heart's content. But generally, I have to say, it looks very nice indeed. So inside the box, you are greeted by, we've got a full colour sheet here for obviously for your what would be decal placements, I assume, and various details to go on, although I don't think there is decals because of what it is. I think it's more colour call-outs for the detailed parts, to be honest, as you will see, because underneath here we are greeted by all of the parts. All right, so this is in a double-edged one. We will look at these parts closely in a moment. All right, but you can see we've got those. Then in here below that we've got some mirrors, which we'll look at the moment as well. So the nice shiny stick-on mirrors. We have got some decals to go on with it as well. So we've got instrument panels and things like that to go in. Then in here we are greeted by a huge pile of bits, and again, some of these are metal. All right, so as well, some of them are rubber. So obviously we've got some rubber tires down in here, and as you can imagine, and we will go all through these, they're all sort of pre-painted or pre-coloured, I should say, plastic. So we've got black section working our way through here for obviously for the subframe, stuff like that. We've got nuts, bolts and screws, which is always nice. We've got the engine. All right, multi-colour, very much Bandai. We're obviously doing multi-coloured injection moulding on one sprue. And then again, if we've got all these parts down in here, we are also greeted by a little screwdriver. We've got a Magic Factory screwdriver, a little Phillips head down in there. And as you might expect, we've got the instructions, and we've got this, which feels like a magnet to me. It is, it's magnetic. That's a really nice touch if that's what I think they're doing with it. So that's actually something that's a little bit of a keepsake. We'll look at that in a moment. So to start off with, make some room. We will start in here, as always, with the instructions. All right, so I must admit, I've got one of my members reached out to me earlier this morning and said, when you do the review, let me know what you think of the instructions as well, because he's having a little bit of trouble with it. But we can definitely do that. So we've got a little correction sheet down in here, just some of these for the actual steering bolts going down in there like that, which is fair enough. All right, so usual thing, we've got obviously what it is, what you're going to get in there and all the rest of it, which we will look at properly in a moment. And then down in here, we've got a few things on how to model. So obviously how to do decals, how to remove things from the actual frames, and obviously various bits you're going to be cutting off as well. And then down in here, we've got one of these magnetic, which I've seen these before other times. I think it's a really nice thing to have in here to keep your screws and your bits and pieces so you can see exactly which ones you need, but also it holds them to the pad. Great idea as well. So again, one of those, we'll look at that properly in a minute as well. So down in here, as you can see, engine going together, going right the way through here. And again, you're looking out for the actual colored tabs it's talking about with these ones and how they're going. And obviously these are the ones which you're going to need to remove, stuff like that. So it's giving you a little bit of extra information with that. Then we've got all the parts being added onto this one. Then obviously with the main sort of block together, we've got all the exhausts and obviously all the parts and hoses and things like that, as you can imagine, going into it. Pointing out decal locations as you go with these as well, because obviously some of these have got them to go on there as well, which is fair enough, as it's calling out for all of these ones. And then down in here, obviously you're going to be adding all these area. We've got the actual suspension as well for the rear, obviously being fitted down into there as well and being mounted to the back of the engine. Exhaust system going together as well. As I say, quite nice, it's pointing out the bits need to be removed in here as well, which is a nice touch. And then right the way through with all of these. Pretty much self-explanatory, but again, quite nice. It's pointing out the vinyl tubing, exactly where it goes for all the hoses and things like that. So again, and also it's pointing out which screws you need as well. So screw D for these ones, screw Ds, and things like that. So again, very, very nice as well. Chain going on right the way through as well. Then we've got the main tires going through. Again, we've got a big old pin and screws going through down in there, and then obviously all being mounted onto the actual frame itself. And then obviously you can see we've got the major, all the rear section being fitted, mounting to the back, and the suspension system being fitted onto that as well. Then we're using screw E's, tiny little screws all the way through on this one. Again, very, very nice touch all the way through, and then right the way into the wiring and various things you've got to do as well. So again, fully detailed, all of this one going right the way through on here. Then bolting obviously both the frames together, and then obviously we've got nuts and bolts and various things all being fitted down into there. Front radiator for the cooling system, vinyl hoses and tubes and things like that being fitted on there, as you might expect. We've got the actual dash for the instrument panel being fitted on there for your dashboard, and then obviously those being fitted down and in, and then obviously front wheel, front forks, and as we know, these are all in metal as well with working springs. Again, really nice touch with these. That all screws and bolts together as well, so you're not gluing any of that either, which is nice. And then obviously running off the front forks, we've got the actual handlebar system being fitted down into all of those ones. And again, the correction one is down in here as well. So again, we've got this one just down in here for step 26. All right, so we've got that one going down in there, and obviously we're working our way on the tops and the fuel tanks and bearings and all the rest of it for the rest of it around the rear as well. And then obviously we've got the stand being fitted, although it has got actually a race stand as well. And then going through with the actual fuel tank being fitted on the top. And again, looking, to be honest, really nice. Now, I was told the instructions looked a little bit confusing, but to be honest with you, I think as long as you're following them closely and just keeping an eye and using some of the little full little indentations to point out things about locations and stuff like that, I think you'll probably be all right. It looks pretty straightforward to me on here. Got the vents and grills being all fitted onto this one with the actual major fairings going on the outsides, and then obviously we've got the number plate and all the rest of it to the rear. We've got the front windscreen being fitted onto this one as well, and obviously we've got your mirrors going on there. And then last up, you've actually got your stand as well for the race stand being fitted down in this one, and it says here, congratulations, share your model with your friends. Nice touch. All right, so again, that looks to be all pretty nice indeed. So where should we start? Let's go into the decals, I think, first. All right. So the great news is, to be honest with you, since this arrived, I've got an itching to build it. So I'm thinking this one may be a build coming up in the future. I've got lots to do. I know, I keep saying it. Right. Okay. Decals themselves, really very nice. No problem at all, I have to say. And again, because it's licensed, you've got proper Honda in the font and all the rest of it. With the Fireblade, obviously you've got your number plates down here at the rear. You can just have the Honda one, or you can have the CBR one on there as well. Again, some nice touches with that. Simple, but very effective on there. So that's the major ones there. We've got the little pack of the I call them shinies, but usually it's your wing mirrors and things like that. And that's nice. Okay, so down in here, we've got some reflective thin plastic as well. Self-adhesive, no doubt, so that'll stick for your mirrors. That's very nice indeed. And then down in here, these are beautiful raised little Honda signs. You can probably see catching the lights, really just like the mini versions of the real thing. So again, very, very nice indeed as well for the actual fuel tanks. So that's good. Then we've got down in here a little zip bag full of all your nuts and bolts and your screws and all things like that, as you can see, which is very nice. And then we've got this guy, which is what I love. As I say, I've seen this before, but it's the first time I've seen it on a model kit like this. So down in here, this is for your screws and all your bits and pieces. If I can get these to stay in the somewhat the baggie and get a few of the bigger ones out, you'll see what I mean. So the whole point with these is, obviously, you can, we don't want those ones, we just want the normally type ones. You can pop these on and they're magnetic, so they stick. So you can say, right, okay, well, we need, there's 2 of these in here, actually, and get them to stick. It's one thing to move around a little bit on there, but you know what I mean. So we've got one there, we've got one of these. Again, so that's quite nice. We have a spring, hopefully the spring will stick, just about. But the great thing is, I don't know if the spring will stay, but yeah, there we go. So they stick to it. All right, the spring might not, but it was a tall order asking for that one to stay on there as well. All right, so again, and then obviously you've got all the small screws and the various things down in here like this and all the little ones, but they will all stick. I do this because I don't want to get them all out, but you'll see they stick nicely onto here. All right, so it is, I know it seems a little bit of a gimmick, but actually it's a good one. And again, if you put it together with one of our trays, that means your entire tray is now magnetic. Again, because this is one of those ones where you can, if you pop one of these to the back like this, you'll find, and hopefully you're going to go through now, not quite on these ones, they're not quite strong enough, but obviously this one now is magnetic. I'm trying to get these off, it's not going to quite go through there, it's not strong enough for that. But again, if you wanted to pop it down in here like this, and then you obviously want to put your screws onto it, the screws aren't going to fall out or come off or anything else like that. So that's the whole point to it. So again, very, very nice. A good little idea with that. And again, we get a nice little screwdriver to go with this as well. So again, you know, if you're like me, you've probably got a nicer one, but it's got one in there, which is the main thing. Then we are greeted by, we have a look in here, the painted parts themselves. We'll start with the Gucci stuff and then we'll work our way out. All right. So one of the big things with these, it depends on how good the paintwork is on these. And to be honest with you, straight off the bat, it looks really very nice. This isn't plasticky at all. That's very, very nice indeed. It's got a proper solid look to it. These aren't just stickers put on the side or decals onto there. This is obviously printed into this one and then lacquered. And again, it feels solid. It doesn't feel flimsy. It's thick, heavy duty, really very, very nice stuff indeed. And again, when you look at the gloss work down in there, and obviously it would have been 2 parts at one point and they've joined it. It's not perfect. I can see a small, tiniest little seam running through, but obviously mileage might vary with yours. All right, but that does look very, very nice indeed. And then again, if you look at some of these parts, genuinely, that's actually really, really nice. Very, very nicely painted. So look at the tank. So it's not like a wishy-washy white colour. Think Bandai. In fact, really think Bandai. This is what's making me think of this one. And again, this wheel, really very, very nice. And again, considering it's been put together, because it's 2 parts, it's actually seamless on the inside. Got the seam line on the outside, but on the inside, it's absolutely seamless. That's really nice. And the painting on the brake discs, okay, they're not metal. You know, in the past, we've seen metal ones, obviously with the Tamiya one, things like that. But that's actually as good as you're going to get, I think, from a plastic point of view. So that's really very nice. And couple of other bits as well. That's just beautifully done. Really good solid colour. So exhaust, again, looks nice, good colour. It's nice that these aren't stickers or decals on these. These are printed onto it, so there's no edging or steps and stuff like that as well, right the way through. Bit of the engine block down in there. Yeah, generally very, very nice. Got all the lights, the clear parts. Again, all looks very, very good indeed. Right the way through. I'm not going to get them out, but we've got the wing mirrors over here. We've got the seat, which looks like it's rubber as well. So hopefully you can get a bit of a look at this and you can actually see that that's actually really very, very nice indeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top on this purely because otherwise I'm about to knock it over and it will go absolutely flying. So inside the bags, the big thing is, because this is all pre-coloured, is to look at the colours that are being used and also how much cleanup, because the worry is with things like this is obviously when you cut them off the sprue, what colour the sprue is underneath, because if it's grey or it's black or something else like that, is going to become a little bit of a problem. So for the sake of science, I just want to know what's in here, and we are a black sprue. All right, so this has been painted over with silver. It's not molded. I thought it may have been molded, but these have been painted over in silver. So it's not multi-injection molding like we might see with Bandai or something, because these have been painted. All right, so the big problem you've got here, when you remove the parts, you're going to have to do tiny little bits of cleanup on this. This is where your marker pens come in, because otherwise you're going to have black left behind. It's a little bit annoying. It would have been better if it was in silver, for instance, because you wouldn't have had as much cleanup for it. But you know what I mean. So generally though, looking around, so this is obviously the race frame. Got the chain down in here. Looks, to be honest with you, very nice indeed. I'll just pop some of these straight in the box. All right, so down in here we've got the black bits. Okay, so just move that out of the way in a minute. Again, what's really nice is it's matte black. This, I assume, is injection molded like this, but it has got that texture which they've achieved through the molding process. So the mold isn't as shiny and as polished. That's why the framework is all nice and shiny, but these aren't. So they put a little bit of texture into it. So that's actually very nice. But generally, all the parts are nice, good, clean, crisp parts on all of these. To be honest, it does look nice. Very, very nice indeed. On the other side, as you can see, looks good. Okay, so now we've got a multi-coloured bit. Okay, so sprue E, we've got some of the block, and you can see the shine in the metal is completely different on this one. The other one was like a dull aluminium. This is a little bit more brighter. And again, we jump in, you can see they've masked off these areas and sprayed these black, or obviously they've left these black, I should say, and they've sprayed the rest in silver, as you can see. But again, engine block looks good. And again, if you were doing this as a perfect bike with no weathering on and things like that, then obviously this is a doddle. It will go together really, really nice. Obviously, some of these parts have been taken out of here, one would assume, have then been actually the parts that are painted now. So it'd be a case of going through. I'm guessing that's the radiator, only because it's a triangle look, but you might remember we had the radiator over here. I reckon that was where the radiator went, just down in there. So, but again, very, very nice indeed. And even on the blind side, pretty good. But you've got these nice locating points, big chunky ones all over this as well. So it's going to make lining up and fitting really nice. Okay, so now we've got the frame. Again, it's in that nice matte black type look to it. To be honest, looks really very, very nice indeed. So if we just pop down in here, you can see. Does look like down in here, you might see them. Looks like ejector pin marks, but I don't think they are, because the ejector pins are on this side, so I'm not even quite sure what these little marks are. Perhaps it's got it on the real bike, don't know. All right, but again, looks good though, really very good. What I love about it, to be honest, it's got that feel of solid. It's hard, good quality plastic at the end of the day. So again, very, very nice. Good job. Okay, right, sprues are getting smaller. So down in here, really shiny. Again, the difference in the shininess of the plastic with the mold finishes and things like that. Very nice indeed. So we've got one of the guards, various inside fairings and things with the frame. Looks very, very nice indeed on Sprues C. And then we've got a few more here on Sprue J. So Sprue J down in here as well. Looks good. Generally, I have to say, it does look really, really nice. And I know, you know, I'm a bit of a biker myself, so going to be a little bit biased, but to be honest with you, it does look nice. As I say, I haven't built a bike now for it must be like 10 years now, but now I'm doing this one, I'm thinking this is the one we want to do. So we've got the brake and the clutch up here as well with the handles, and the detail, just the detail off of them just looks really very, very nice indeed. Very good. All of those parts. Tiny little white one I won't bother getting out, but there we go. You can see part Q. Some of the clear parts. The bags look very tatty, you know, like they've been around a while, but luckily though, beautiful. The clear parts are absolutely crystal clear. Really very, very nice indeed. That front windscreen was beautifully done. Very, very nice. I'm just going to pop that back in the bag and keep him separate and safe. And so Sprue M, we've got the brake calipers. Very, very nice. Very good. Okay, now we've got the exhaust system, which looking at it, it does need to go together. It's in various parts. I'm just hopeful that it's hidden. As you can see, it's got lots of parts here on K. But here's your exhaust system right the way through. The colour of it looks fantastic. And I think from a weathering point of view, coming in with a little bit of bluing, putting a bit of heat into these, that's all that needs. Really nice. Skeptical part of me says that hopefully it goes together pretty much seamless. Otherwise, you've got big seams down in here and you need to take care of it. But again, the test will be in the building with that one. So we're going to have to put one of these together just to find out, I feel. Okay. R gives you some more of the air scoops, indicators, housings, things like that. Looks very nice indeed. Good with those. Very nice. Okay, we've got a couple of forks in the black, as you can see, painted underneath, but they've done them this way on Z, which is fair enough. And then down in here as well on Sprue H, we've got some as well, which again are forks in plastic, which are sort of done in one, which is quite nice on Sprue H. But we've also got them in metal. So these are actually metal ones. So again, they go really very, very nicely indeed. Tolerances on that, very fine. But again, being metal, it's very nice. So again, that's a far nicer option. And also it's not an upgrade like the Tamiya one. The Tamiya one, you paid extra for the front forks and all things like that. Then we've got some vinyl, obviously for the hosing down inside, things like that. And then last up, we have the all-important tyres. So, the all-important grip band. There is a centre seam, but let's face it, so does the real thing. All right. So actually it doesn't look too bad at all. Again, we've got no branding. Considering it's Honda, they haven't got like Michelin tyres or whoever's they would be on this one. So, but yeah, tread pattern, it's fine. To be honest, I think it's getting near end of life, but yeah, it is in there, as you can see. So Yeah, I have to say, I love it. I think it's really, really nice. I can't actually find a fault with this. The only thing I would say is, as I say, the trouble you've got when you remove them from the sprue, if it's black sprue underneath, you've got to touch them up. So I would definitely get hold of some markers. If you want the quick escape route, get some markers, get an aluminium, get like a chrome one and all the rest of it for it. But luckily it looks like the white parts and stuff like that are probably done on white, so that's not so much of an issue. And again, these parts have all been cleaned up and done for you, which again, it's a really nice touch with it. I love all the details onto this one. I love the way that this has been done in the tray, and it's all been parts taken off the sprues and done it to keep it all neat and tidy. Looks really good. The instructions, I know we had a little bit of a worry about those, but honestly, I think as long as you're taking your time, step by step, working it, making sure you've got the right parts with everything, so forth and so on, I think you're going to be golden on that. You'll be okay with it. But anyway, I think we need to find out about this one. So expect to see this up as a video build for members, and obviously there'll be a cut down version as well, which will go out as a freebie on the build of this one, because I've been talking about doing a bike for ages. And I was looking at some of the Tamiya ones and bits and pieces like that and thinking that's the way to go because they're beautiful. And then we were looking at a few other manufacturers as well. And this one just landed on the doorstep. So it'd be a crying shame not to do it. And it's from a relatively new manufacturer. I think this is Magic Factory's first foray, shall we say, into doing bikes as well. So let's see how good it actually goes together in the real world as well. So expect an update on this one in the near future as we make our way through. Anyway, there we go. That is the fantastic Honda Fireblade 1/9 scale by Magic Factory.